This one tip made getting good grades so much easier. Hi, welcome to another video. Remember, we're trying to do 20 videos in 30 days. A lot of time, a lot of effort. If you wouldn't mind just hitting the subscribe button, post notifications, help channel grow, help the analytics. We really appreciate you and everyone who's been helping us along the way. All right, let's get started. This isn't a mindset video. A lot of these, how do I get A's videos, they're like mindset. How do I learn better? How do I memorize things better? How do I get knowledge better? This is not one of those videos. This is more about tips and tricks, like things you actually do that I think will make your life so much easier to get grades. You probably wondering about me. I recently made a video about pretty privilege, and in that video, I noted that I had really good grades, and I got a DM saying, hey, do you have any advice? I was like, this would be a cool, fun video idea that I could use. About me, I've always had good grades. I graduated
Summa cum laude. Summa cum laude is the highest level of Latin honors you can earn.
I've always gotten good grades, but before I had to struggle to get good grades. Somewhere around college, I had to take a break because of financial reasons and tuition. You know the deal, you know college. But when I came back, I made a few minor changes, and those minor changes made my life so much easier. And after that, college felt like so much of a breeze to me. So I just want to give those little tips I had to see it could be useful to someone else. Also, I hope this video is motivational to someone. I think that me, especially because I took a break. Once you took a break, I had so much anxiety about going back, about if I'm still capable. I don't remember how to do long division. I hope I'm like useful to someone that, hey, you can go back, and I promise you it's not as hard as you think it is. I actually think that if you take a break and go back, it's actually easier because when you go back, you know why you're there. It's not just an extension of high school anymore. It's like, I have a purpose for being here. And all the things you don't remember is gonna be useless. It's like a bicycle, once you get on it, you just keep rolling. So if you're thinking about going back and have doubts, don't let that doubt be the reason you don't do something you really want to. So let's get started into this video. The first and most obvious tip, I don't think I even need to say, Google and Quizlet are your best friends. This is not new news. We both know the impact of Google. Now, the first real tip that I want to give is the calendar app. This single-handedly made my life so much easier. Me, like most people, love to procrastinate, wait to the last minute. You don't realize how easy college is once you remove the procrastination. Once you remove the doing everything on last minute, the cram sessions, the all-nighters trying to finish the project, you realize if you remove that, how easy college can be. So my first tip is the calendar with notifications. This 1 hour of one day in the semester could drastically change how you navigate through college and how you navigate through your work and all the things you have to do. You grab all your syllabuses from all your classes, grab them together, and then you go into your whatever calendar apps on your phone that can send you notifications, either Google Calendar or Apple Calendar. I use Google because I have a Mac. And then you put every homework, every quiz, every assignment, every paper, everything that has a deadline, you put into the calendar, and then you put 2 or 3 notifications on every single one so it goes to your phone. It takes about 1 hour, but I promise you, after this, you realize everything stopped being out of sight, out of mind. And the notifications, I think, is the most important part. Set the alarms and the notifications to when you know you're going to be free. If you know that you get home at 3 or you get home at 6 and you're not going to be doing anything at 3 or 6, set the alarm so that it rings or your phone gets the buzz at the 3 or the 6 every day. Set the notifications accordingly. A weekly homework or like a daily homework, you set the alarm notification 2 or 3 days before. So you have like an alarm 3 days before it's due, and then you have an alarm 2 days before it's due. But to me, that makes such a difference to me because then everything stopped being out of sight, out of mind. I can just forget it. I can just be hanging out with my friends and get lost in thought. You just get that notification like, oh, something is due. This single-handedly changed how I navigated through college. And someone told me this, and after I did that, everything just became like so much more easier. I stopped having the late night sessions of trying to write a full paper at midnight. Second big tip is do not be prideful. Do not be prideful. You'd be surprised the amount of people who don't want to research their professors because they feel like they're scamming college or not doing college the right way by trying to find the easier teachers. I promise you, in 5 months, you won't care how your teachers were chosen. You're just gonna care about your grade. Spend 5 minutes asking around, hey, what do you think about this teacher or that teacher? Or if you don't have friends, go and rate my professor. That little effort of trying to pick the professor is going to change your life. You'd be surprised how many people just go and take whatever the counselor tells them to take. There is no award for getting my A's the hard way. You're just making your life so much harder. And when picking teachers, there's certain types of teachers to avoid. There are teachers who believe in the bell curve. The bell curve is this. It is when teachers believe the grades must be evenly dispersed in a bell curve across the class. There should only be a certain amount of A's, a little bit more B's, the majority of students should be C's, there should be D's, and there should be a few E's. Avoid any teacher who like that. You want a teacher who believes that every single person, if they learn the material, should get an A. You do not want to believe in a bell curve teacher, because the bell curve teachers are the worst because you're competing with everyone else in the class. And they tend to make the material harder so that it reflects that bell curve. You should try to find teachers that they believe if you learn the material, if you master material, you get an A. Avoid teachers who are hard to understand, or they offer material that everyone says is difficult to understand, or something that the teachers themselves are not good at explaining. So if the teacher is not good at explaining their own material, it's probably not wise to try and take that class. And it's a bonus if the teachers are really helpful, if they tell you they can meet you after class. There's some teachers that are just mean and they consider this a job, they don't want to work extra hours. But I told you, if you find a teacher that said I'll stay after class to help you a little bit, those are always a bonus. And if you can switch classes to take another semester, like switch around your schedule, take another semester, do that. Don't force yourself to take a horrible teacher because it's the only thing left. Like, so if you have the ability to switch around classes, do not be prideful, just switch around classes. Take it the next semester. Do not risk your GPA for something as minor as that. In a few years, you're only going to care about a GPA. You're not going to care about when you took the class. Next tip is going to be electives. Do not pick electives on the subject. You pick electives on the teacher, or if you think it's going to look good on a resume. Do not pick an elective on the subject. You do not want to look back and find out you got rejected from the dream master's program you wanted because of history of Beyonce or basket weaving 101. If the teacher is bad, you're honestly better off just learning on YouTube. You're better off taking private classes. Do not pick electives on the subject. Pick it on the teacher if you like the teacher, or on if it looks good on a resume. Like, beyond that, you should not be taking basket weaving 101 if it's not going to be an ECA. Next tip is to socialize. You'd be surprised how much course material circulates through a class when you start being friends with the class. This is my thing. The first day of class, look around, find the people who look reliable. Just befriend them. So I know a lot of you are shy, a lot of you don't know what to say. You have something already in common in the class. So if you want to go up there for a conversation, say, hey, I did this homework, it's harder than I thought it was. How did you handle it? Or what do you get on this quiz? I got this thing. Or like, you find something in the class that you have commonality and just talk to them. It's helpful to have a friend in the class who might understand the situation better. And I say, hey, if I don't understand this, maybe they understand this and they can explain it to me. Another helpful tip is if you're a Mac user, learn to use the Notes app. If you're a PC user, learn to use Google Keep. You'd be surprised how helpful it is to have a Notes app that you can directly edit on your phone, and it'd be directly in your PC, or directly in your PC as already instantly on your phone. Especially when you're like studying or you're on a move, it's good to have a Notes app that you can quickly interchange between your phone and your computer. Especially when you're walking around campus, stuff like that. You'd be able to study while on the move, or you're not in a position where you have to bring out your computer. That's really useful. The next tip is if you're having a hard time writing a paper, like you can't motivate yourself to write a paper, a very useful tip is to type it out on your phone. In today's modern age, most of us are more comfortable typing things on our phone. The details of the paper might not be exact because you won't have your research materials with you, but let me tell you something, it's easier to edit than it is easier to type. Do I say just grab your phone, go somewhere quiet, and then type out as much as you can, and then edit the details, edit the correct information, everything later on. I kid you not, I wrote a 10-page paper on the train one day. A lot of you already have them notepad paragraphs you're writing anyway, so might as well do something that might be beneficial to your grades. So if you're one of those people that have a hard time just starting and writing a paper, just grab your phone, go into the Notes app, go into Google Keep, and just start typing. Just type as much as you can. Don't worry about the details, don't worry about the accuracy, just type. It's easier to edit than it is to write a full paper. So that's another advice I can give. Another tip I can give is befriend people in your degree track. It's easier to do things in especially a struggle like college when you're doing it with your friends. You can all pick classes together, you can take classes together. It's a lot easier to do homework when the fun thing you're doing with your friends is the homework. When you all gather and do the homework together, it's better to have homework be the reason you're hanging out with your friends than have homework be the reason why you have to leave hanging out with your friends, like I told you. So when you start making friends within your degree track and you start taking classes together, doing the schoolwork is part of the fun. When you're doing the homework, you're actually hanging out with your friends. You can do things that are beneficial to you, but in a fun way. They also have knowledge of classes that they've taken. They also can introduce you to people And not to mention, after you graduate, there could be potential people you can network with that could help you get jobs and stuff like that. Like I noted in the other video I made, I tutor a lot of people and they were all the same degree track as me. For everything they couldn't understand because I was one of their friends, they knew they could come to me and I could help them. So I think that just befriending people in your own degree track goes a long way in like helping you make things easier. Another tip, if capable, take classes from when you're at your best. And what I mean by that is that I'm not a morning person. My first semester, I took a bunch of morning classes. I literally dreaded myself every single day of going to class. I promise, I did not want to wake up for class. I dreaded school. And I made a conscious decision that I would not take any more morning classes. For the entirety of the rest of my college, I took classes only from 11 to 4. Because of that, I had my mornings to myself. I had time to get ready. I had time to not rush. I did not just wake up and run to class. It might not seem like a big deal, but your ability to enjoy going to class goes dramatically up when you're not doing it in a rush, when you're not doing it in a state in which you're unhappy. I also know this is not something that's available to everyone. Some people, they work so many hours that they can't really dictate, but I'm saying if you have the ability to do that, pick classes when you are at your best. Don't take that 8 a.m. class if you know you hate waking up at 6 a.m. Another tip, YouTube. I promise you, there's someone better at teaching than your professor who's posted the material on YouTube. If your teacher is difficult to understand, there's probably someone who's made a better explanation on YouTube, but with motion graphics and fun animation and music that makes it so much more fun to learn. I took an advanced statistics class that was like brutal. I thought the material was brutal because the way the teacher presented the material was difficult, and then I watched a YouTube video about someone explain on YouTube and I was like, this is borderline remedial stuff. Like, I don't know why they presented it in such a way that it was so difficult. There's someone better at teaching than your professor on YouTube that has found a way to better present it and that is freely available. So I think if you're ever on a subject and you don't know how I'm supposed to navigate it, instead of how do I solve this on YouTube, and I promise you, you're probably gonna find someone who's very, very helpful and a better teacher online. This last tip is one I never did because I never planned that far ahead. But for the select few of you that plan really, really far ahead, you already have your classes for next semester already planned ahead. So what you do, this semester, at the end of the semester, go to that class and ask people in that class for their notes, their materials for the homework. Teachers aren't that creative that they're making new subjects every single semester. They're using the same materials, the same things every semester. So if you're one of those people that plans like 8-9 months ahead, at the end of this semester, go to the classes that you're going to take and ask people, hey, I'm pretty sure you're not going to need these materials anymore. Would you mind letting me have your study materials from this semester? They're really helpful to me in my next semester.
You've reached the end.
That'll be it for this one. That time. The socials are going to be somewhere. Hit the like and subscribe. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching our videos. I hope all y'all get good A's. All A's this semester. If you're thinking about college, do it if you want to do it. Don't let them hold you back. But that's it for this video.
Bye.
I didn't want to make this video too long, but if you guys want more tips or tricks, let me know. And maybe I'll make a part 2 of more tips and tricks that help you get through college easy. Alright.